Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Dean from SixDean Tutorials, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the squeal noise, or one of the squeal noises, from Habstrakt's song Future Swag. It sounds kind of like this, and also kind of like this. Well, not quite like that, but kind of like this. So what I'm doing is I'm just changing the cutoff frequency there of the scream filter, which gives us kind of more of a scream effect. So you can have a really nice gritty low end bassy bit, or you can have a really or somewhere in between. So I mean, he's got some automation going on in his notes as well, so he's doing some pitch bending, and he might also, on his voicing tab, have changed it to monophonic and legato triller, so he can kind of twiddle between the notes. I'm sure Debussy never called it twiddle, but anyway. So we've got two oscillators, both sine square, which is in the basics, both spectrum. The top one is on plus 12 semitones with wavetable to the left, so it's all the way around to sine. Intensity is full and amp is full, going through to filter 1. The second oscillator is down by 36 semitones, wavetable to the left, so it's a sine. Intensity full and amp is about 2/3 because we're getting just some of this low end. This is basically our sub bass that's coming through, or that's beefing the sound up on the bottom end. So next we're going to add a scream filter to our filter 1, so turn it on, put it on screen, put the cutoff frequency below a quarter, but not quite all the way down to the bottom. Scream is at a quarter and resonance is at a half. Next we need to add a parabolic shaper and boost the dry wet and the drive all the way up to the top. We then go into our, we can probably leave the oscillators and the voicing, it doesn't really matter. You can go up and down by 12 on the pitch, but it doesn't matter so much. Next we need to go onto the envelope 1, and we're going to make this shape here in the sound. So take the delay to 0, attack to 0, level to 0, delay or decay should I say to 0, and then the sustain level is all the way up and the release is at about a quarter. So everything's down here apart from the sustain level, and then the release a quarter. We then take the envelope and put it onto the cutoff frequency of our scream filter, and then we push up until we get sort of just below the U of cutoff. And when you've got this shape, you should get a nice sound, something like this. And then you want to add a couple of effects. So we've got a classic tube distortion with the drive at about just above a quarter and the dry wet about a third. Dimension expander with a quarter or just below a quarter size and then about a third dry wet. EQ, boosted the low shelf. The boost is just a tiny bit down, you probably put it up a little bit. Frequency at a quarter and the high shelf is just above a half. And that that's pretty much your sound. Now what you need to do is go into the LFO 5 here, put the crossfade curve to the top, turn sync on, turn pause off, turn the ratio to anything from 12 or 1/12 to 1/32 depending on how you like your sound, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Take the amplitude all the way down to a quarter, so we're only getting a quarter of the effect on our sound wherever we put this LFO 5. Take the crosshair of the LFO 5, put it onto the pitch modulation of oscillators 1 and 2, and then put the pitch up by 8 semitones or 8.00, and then you're going to get some movement. It's kind of like a vibrato, it's like a constant vibrato, but it's slightly different because obviously it's changing the pitch. It just makes it a little bit more gritty. You don't have to have it on, you could probably put it on 24 or 12. it just gives you a synced, so rather than you having to go into the vibrato and then because there's no sync on vibrato, it just sort of like, it comes with these macros loaded and you have to sort of decide what you think the speed is. So it's just basically like having a really fast wobble on your sound. So rather than doing it with the vibrato, you're just having a constant vibrato with a synced time signature to it. So yeah, if we have it on 12, on 16, on 24, and on 32, and obviously you can bring it almost all the way down to the bottom, so you get just a tiny bit of the effect, which I found quite satisfying. So yeah, next, if you want to make a couple of different sounds with this, you can just go into your cutoff filter here, and change the amount of envelope sort of number, or the amount of blue line that you've got on your cutoff frequency, and also change just where the cutoff starts. So you can have something like that without me going into too much depth about it. Yeah, you could just wiggle the little knob about, and then you can actually change the automation in your automation lane here. You see, I've already done some stuff, but when you wiggle the knob about, you get a little red line that you can put breakpoint files into, which allows you to change this over time in your arrangement view, so you can sort of make it do silly things. But we don't want it to be that loud straight away. We want it to go kind of like this, I think. Let's try that. It's probably a little bit too prominent. Again, you get the picture. It's just very simple to do that kind of thing. So you'll do that when you're on your own. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you've got any questions, if I've missed anything out, or if you want a request or something like that, stick it in the comments. And thanks very much for your time. Please subscribe, like, favourite, and all that good stuff, and see you in the next tutorial.